let's head out to the West Coast and focus on a couple of NL West series. NTT Ballpark Cam taking us out to Chase Field, second of a four-game set between the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks. Dodgers won Thursday's contest 6-3. Tony Gonsolin gets called up to make his start against Zach Gallen. And it's also the home opener at Coors Field, first of a three-game set between the Padres and the Rockies. Garrett Richards taking on John Gray in this one. And how about the surprising San Diego Padres? 5-2 overall. Last night they won another one in San Francisco, even they blew a 6-1 lead. They put a 6 spot up in extra innings and ended up winning this one 12-7 was the final. So Kev, you got a bunch of interesting storylines in this division. What's going to be the headliner back on Monday?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I think the Padres are just exciting to watch. I mean, they're the one team that you watch play in this type of situation, Chris. The excitement, everything they go, I don't know if it's a youth, they got a couple stud-rich veterans, whatever you want to call it, but they're fun to watch. This club, yeah, I'm going to put them up there, Chris. I think Monday you're going to look at the Pods in first place.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, I had them as a playoff team coming in. I still think the Dodgers are going to win the division by at least 6 games. But I think the Padres are real interesting. And can we stop for a second? How good do the Padres uniforms look?
I mean, you would never say that brown, bring it back, and it's off that yellow, and now everybody's got all the matchy swag going with all the bands and, the stuff. So I just think the pinstripes are tight, the unis are tight, they got a tight-looking club. This is going to be a fun year if you're a Padres fan.
Yeah, the pinstripe stuff is incredible. I mean, I love it on the road, the white pinstripes. We're not going to sit here and beg Padres personnel. That's not the type of, actually, it's exactly the type of people we are. So we're basically begging for some uniforms. I don't know how you get them to us. Yeah, reach out to us, send us an email. I don't know. As long as it's under $250, Kevin can accept anything. I think legally is the way it goes. I'll have to go read the handbook again. I do want to make one more point before we move on from this division. The Colorado Rockies have been under the radar this first week. We haven't paid a lick of attention to them. They won down in Texas. Yeah. They did fine out in Oakland, and I get it, those are pitchers' parks. But I think you have a little reason to be excited about the entire staff and not just the rotation. The bullpen has looked really, really good, an ERA of a little bit over 1. Mm-hmm. And let's remember, a few years ago, they paid Wade Davis $52 million, and they paid Jake McGee $27 and Brian Shaw $27. Well, they threw Shaw and McGee out the door this year, and they were like, y'all can keep the money, we just don't want you here. And they've had some guys that have done it. Now, I thought heading into last year that this was the best starting rotation I had ever seen in the history of the Rockies. And you know what they did? They laughed at me and they said, we'll show you, Chris Rose. And they ended up having the worst starting ERA staff in all of baseball. I still think there's enough talent there, Kev, to keep this team in contention. Not necessarily with the Dodgers, but for one of those 8 playoff spots. Can't they do it?
No, 100%. And they're going back home. They'll start bashing the baseball, so their offense is going to be fine. Like you said, their bullpen's kind of tight. Wade Davis still a stud. So, yeah, this team and the starting pitch, this team could compete, no doubt, in a short season. We keep saying Dodgers, but they're going to have some issues along the way if they don't clean up their little starting staff. But we'll talk about them. They are the mainstay, period, of this division. But guys got a chance to make the postseason. I don't care who you are. You just got to play well, and this team's got enough players to play well.
Yeah, one last point before we move on. I just want to circle back to the whole begging the Padres for some uniform stuff. If you could get that to us in the next 49 minutes or so I don't have to look at Kevin's shirt, can you help us out, please? I don't know if they can
Look at my Padres hat.
I'm not that far. Yeah. Just do something. Like, this is the one show where you should actually think of going shirtless the entire time. I really think we ought to take a Twitter vote on that one.